Hi, I'm Danielle Nash, I'm 26, I'm a plus size model.
Hello, my name is Jemima, I'm 25 and from Hampshire.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm one of the financial coaches at Claro. So today we've got a couple of millennials just in the next room. I'm actually going to be reacting to some of their financial views. Now they've got no idea that I'm in the room just next door. So hopefully we should get some good, honest answers.
Will more money always make you happier?
Oh my God, of course. I feel like anyone who says that money doesn't make them happy doesn't know where to shop. Obviously has more than they need and can help me with some. Yeah. Money will always make you happy. I disagree with anyone who says otherwise. Because it gets things, money isn't the goal. Getting the things that you want is the goal, and money is the tool to get you there.
If money doesn't make you happy, you don't know where to shop. That's interesting. Yeah, basically, interesting view. She is kind of right in the fact that if somebody has not got their bottom line needs met, so there's kind of a hierarchy of needs to do with your bottom line costs, social interaction, and a minimal level of kind of being able to do what you want. If that's not met, then more money is going to, essentially make you, or be far more likely to make you happy. Beyond that though, there's a lot of data that suggests that any money kind of beyond that doesn't really make any difference towards someone's overall happiness. So there's kind of a middle ground, and once your bottom line needs are met, having a job that kills you for 100 hours a week for 20% extra quite often is not worth it. So yes, money will make you happier to the point of your bottom line needs being met and being able to do a certain amount. Beyond that though, there's a lot of data to suggest that it's just not the case that it would.
Is there such a thing as good debt?
The only debt I can think of that is good is, let's say you have a credit card and you're building your credit score and your credit card was considered as debt. That's the only time I can think of that debt could be beneficial if you're trying to build your credit score or
So she's right, yeah. So there's a couple of angles that you could come at from this. So yeah, for instance, if someone's got a bad credit history or even a neutral credit file, having some builder credit cards, for instance, or some kind of credit lines that are enable to them to get a better credit record to then go on to get a better mortgage deal, for instance, we can consider that probably good debt as long as it's controlled and managed correctly. Also, more widely speaking, if we're looking at student loans or mortgages, which typically have lower interest rates than say consumer debt like credit cards, that could be considered good debt in comparison. But really it's kind of depends how you kind of take the angle of that question.
Is life insurance a scam and a waste of money?
My mum would say yes. She feels like she was scammed by life insurance because she didn't die before the end of the policy. So I don't think it's a scam. I think it's always better safe than sorry, and it can leave stuff up for family members.
Good. And it's good that she thinks this. So essentially, as long as you're truthful in the application of a life insurance policy, then you will receive the payout if you were to pass away. So if someone needs life insurance, for instance, if they've got a partner, a mortgage, or children that are financially dependent on them, then life insurance is going to be a good idea. These horror stories that you unfortunately hear, which is unfortunately really too common, is usually due to what we call non-disclosure, where someone just hasn't been upfront, so having a previous illness that then they go on to potentially die of. As unfortunate as it is, as long as you're truthful in the application, then payout statistics are usually in the mid to high 90s with life insurance for a reason.
Would you rather have a job you hate with a really high salary or a job you love with a below average salary?
job I love every single time. I think your quality of life is so important, and I think I would rather do something I love every single day than work some office job I hate. Although there is a good saying, it's better to cry in a Lamborghini than a bus, so.
No, she's got it spot on, in my view anyway. Obviously this is subjective between different people, but if you're gonna do something that you love every day, as long as your bottom line costs are met, and as long as you're not scrimping and scraping for your basic necessities in life, you're gonna be so much happier in general. There's actually a lot of studies that go into this, but think of how many millionaires and billionaires are crying in their mansions and like not happy with their lives. So generally, if you can have a quality of life and you're happy in what you do every single day, as long as your bottom line needs are met, all good.
How much money should you be saving?
Anything more than what I'm currently doing. No, I think you should save like a good fraction. So I saw once I think it was a TikTok where you have your main account which pays for your necessities, and then like 20% like savings and still like 10% in like investments or something like that. So at least a good 20% of your check. I feel like I wish I was taking my own advice on this one, but I think maybe about 20%.
She's pretty much got it spot on there. So generally speaking, there is a budgeting principle or a money management principle that's called the 50-30-20 rule. That would suggest that from your overall income, if you can save around 20% of it per month, you're not going too far wrong. Now, obviously it is a little bit subjective. Everyone's different, and how much should you save is going to be very interpersonal. But if you can put away around 20% of your income, you're doing all right.
Right now, do you feel as though you have as much money saved as you should have?
No. I feel like I had an expectation for the age I am to be preferably in a better position. Although I would love to have more money saved, I don't regret spending it on doing things that I love.
Good. This is something that's so common, and unfortunately so. We have this obsession naturally as humans to benchmark ourselves against other people, to know how much should I be saving by 25, how much should I be saving by the age of 30. Who's to say this? Whose job is it to say how much we should save by any age in comparison to what? There's also a kind of saying that I like of use your 20s as your 20s, and like Jemima's really wisely said here, this is a kind of unique decade that you won't get back. So make sure that you're having fun, and like I say, as long as your bottom line needs are met, go for it. Really good answer.
Do you think millennials waste money?
Why the targeting? Like, that's not fair. Millennials specifically, because I feel very targeted with that question. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't say necessarily more than any other generation, but we do spend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this one. So again, it comes back to this idea of financial literacy. Nobody taught us these money management skills in school. And so we go out into the big wide working world and we have no idea what to do with our money because our parents have had exactly the same thing usually. And nobody tells us how to do this. Whereas with Gen Z, for instance, there seems to be this ongoing thing of learning money management on TikTok and through social media. And actually, there's some really good impressions that they are going to know how to manage their money a lot better than millennials. But it's really just a thing of, no one's told us this before. So do they waste money? Again, it's a little bit subjective. You can spend money on whatever makes you happy. But in terms of money management skills, millennials maybe aren't the best statistically, but it's with good reason.
Do you think high income makes you wealthy?
Not necessarily. If you're living in depends on your geographic location, your kind of monthly spend, your monthly rate of living. You could be earning a lot of money, but you're living in a place where it costs a lot of money to live. So even though your salary is high, your cost of living is high. And you probably end up with the same amount per month as someone with a lesser paid job. So it's very dependent on, alternative factors. If you have, different supports, if you have debt, if you have children, there's so many factors to be considered.
So this is a really interesting one. It's more of a kind of philosophical question as well, because what is a high income? What is wealthy? This plays on that idea that wealthy is purely financial, when obviously it's not. Happiness is wealth. You have to be happy in the job that you're doing. It goes back to the earlier question that we had. You have to be satisfied with what you're doing every day, and have enough to cover the means that you want and any kind of desires you have. But ultimately, if you have a high income in a job that you hate, it's not going to really put you in a good position. Also, if we're looking purely at the numbers here, let's say somebody has a high income, but then their bottom line costs are 80% of that. And then you've got someone that's on a slightly lower income, but their bottom line costs are only 30%. Who's more financially better off? Arguably the second person.
Do you think schools should do more to teach about financial management?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely think we aren't taught. The system isn't built for us to have financial knowledge. It's taught how to pass a test, to get a good job and be in the rat race system. It's not something that's supposed to make. I don't think schools are designed in a way to make us financially literate or anyone have much knowledge. So they prep you to having a job, at least. So, and having a job doesn't make you financially literate either. I think they could be definitely doing so much more in schools.
Completely agree. With this, it's generally not taught in schools, and so people have a really low level of financial literacy when they come out of school into the big wide working world, because why would they know? Nobody's told them about this. That's exactly what Claro is trying to do by plugging the advice gap, enabling people to have the confidence to basically make their own smart money decisions. So yes, she's 100% right that unfortunately there's a very low level of financial literacy because it's just not taught in schools, and we're looking to change that.
Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I haven't made myself look like a complete idiot. But if I have, let me know in the comments. I hopefully will see you all again soon.
Smashed it.
Yeah? How terrible are my answers?